I also noticed that data quality, you've mentioned that before. It's one of the highest priorities within your role to engage on. Can you identify for our listeners why you believe it's so critical for DHS and ICE?
Good data is essential in so many different areas, in homeland security and national security, but it's absolutely paramount in law enforcement investigations and building the evidence and the data that's necessary to support prosecutions. I mean, today we grieve for the souls that we lost in Boulder and Atlanta, and then all the multiple mass shootings in recent days, and honoring the heroism of Officer Talley. We really owe it to the victims and the families to do this right, to get the data right, to lead to the necessary prosecutions of these horrendous crimes that we have. There's a chain of evidence process. You have to be able to know and record who obtained evidence and where that evidence was obtained, and where it was secured, and who had control of it. I mean, all these activities are going on right now, again, in Boulder and Atlanta and the other terrible places that we had the terrible shootings. And, it's a very meticulous process, and you've got to have accurate and consistent data, and again, have that chain of evidence to be able to have successful investigations and then successful prosecutions. And it's also important just into the general enforcement side to ensure that if you are going to be deporting someone, it's accurate, it's timely. You're not inadvertently sending the wrong person, or you're not, of course, coming into the country. You're ensuring that you know who's coming in and ensure that there's no national security risk. So it's important to know your data, but it's important that data be of a quality and consistency fashion.
Ken, it's really great to hear that there's such an emphasis and that the department realizes how important data is and the quality of data is to the outcome of everyone involved in the process. So thank you for that. Just moving on to the next one. This is, again, something that is critical within your group, which is data sharing. And I believe that you and the department were instrumental in getting an agreement across 22 different groups. This is a huge achievement. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners would like to ask, how did you do it? How did you get buy-in from all the different groups?
We're already, I did have the pleasure of being a part of the whole development of the DHS data strategy and working across all the different components. And of course, on the information sharing side, there's Information Sharing and Safeguarding Governance Board, which I had the opportunity to lead the administration of that. My team supported the Undersecretary leadership for the Information Sharing Safeguarding Governance Board. That's very much a collaborative process across all the components of DHS to ensure that the policies and the practices and the processes we have are consistent for information sharing. And of course, I followed a similar process in developing the ICE data strategy that I mentioned earlier. And that was important, again, to have a federated approach where you're working across and looking for collective engagement and collective buy-in to the data strategies that we're developing. Also looking at some of the areas in information sharing, some of the mission areas. Just right now, for example, looking at how we can improve healthcare information sharing and following some of the processes I mentioned, the functional standard, suspicious activity reporting functional standard that I had the opportunity to lead years ago, and following the methodology there of bringing the partners together to look at how to improve the processes and the data that's required, the metadata that's required to share across all these different mission areas. And also the department is developing various data domains to ensure cohesion and coordination across all the different agencies. law enforcement, cyber, emergency management, and immigration, for example.